Losing my father was the kind of pain that doesn't just touch you, it buries itself inside you. I was 28, working full-time as a personal assistant in Seattle, and most days, it felt like I was just floating. Moving through life without really being there. That was the version of me that Leon met. Not the strong, witty, independent woman I usually was, but the fragile one. The one desperately craving safety. Someone to tell her that everything was going to be okay again. Leon was older than me by nearly 10 years. Sharp-dressed. Soft-spoken. The kind of man who made you feel like the most important person in the room whenever he looked at you. When he asked me out for coffee, I said yes before I could even think. Our relationship at first. It was like every romantic cliché rolled into one. Sunset walks by the bay. Weekend trips to cute little towns outside the city. Random flowers left at my desk. Handwritten notes tucked into my bag. He made me feel chosen. Cherished. Safe. When he proposed, a surprise party he organized with all our friends and family, I didn't even hesitate. Yes, I whispered, my voice thick with happy tears. Everyone cheered. Even my mom, who was still grieving in her own way, told me. He's exactly what you need, sweetie. Someone steady. Someone who'll protect you. I believed her. I believed Leon. God, I wanted to believe in something good again. Our wedding was beautiful. Simple, tasteful, filled with laughter. 2 weeks of honeymoon bliss in Cancun followed, and for the first time in what felt like years, I let myself believe that maybe life could be beautiful again. But real life, it doesn't stay wrapped in a bow forever. And the cracks started showing the moment we got back home. Moving into Leon's condo was like stepping into a museum exhibit titled Leon's Life, No Touching Allowed. He didn't want me to rearrange the living room. He didn't want me to hang pictures in the bedroom. He didn't even want me to put my magnets, tiny souvenirs from the trips I had saved up for and taken all over the world, on the fridge. They look cheap, he said with a grimace. At first, I tried to brush it off. New marriage, new compromises, right? I suggested small changes, blending our styles slowly over time. But Leon would just shake his head and say, "This is my home. I like things a certain way." It didn't stop there. He complained about how many clothes I had. About how my laugh was too loud sometimes when I was on the phone with my friends. About how I needed to act more wifely now that we were married. Small comments, said half in jest, but they piled up. At first, it was easy to tell myself he just needed time to adjust. That marriage was about learning, and patience, and finding common ground. I didn't realize I was the only one moving. The only one compromising. By the second year of our marriage, I had already started giving up little pieces of myself without even noticing. I kept most of my clothes in the guest room. I stopped bringing home magnets from my work trips. I went out with my friends less, stayed home more, because he missed me when I was gone. He worked late a lot, and when he was home, he was tired. He wanted peace. Quiet. I gave it to him. I gave him everything he asked for. And for a long time, I told myself that was love. But love doesn't make you smaller. Love doesn't erase you. And as the third year of our marriage approached, I could feel it. This hollow ache growing inside me. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't even surviving. I was shrinking. And I hadn't even realized yet just how much worse it was going to get. It started small, the way most bad things do. Little oddities. Tiny moments that I brushed off because the alternative, believing my husband was sabotaging me, was too awful to consider. At first, it was just missed messages. I'd swear my mom had texted me about lunch plans, but when I went to check, the thread was gone. Or a friend would say, "Hey, didn't you get my invite to the party?" And I'd have no idea what they were talking about. I blamed it on my phone. It had been acting a little slow lately. Maybe the software needed an update. Maybe the memory was full. That's what I told myself. Because the idea that someone could be deleting my messages on purpose? No. Not Leon. Not the man who kissed my forehead every morning and told me he loved me. One night, I decided enough was enough. I bought a new phone. Nothing fancy, just something functional. And I didn't tell Leon. Not because I was hiding it. But because I wanted one private thing for myself. One thing he couldn't touch. A few nights later, everything shattered. It was around 2 a.m. I woke up thirsty, stumbled sleepily toward the kitchen, and froze. There, in the dim glow of the living room lamp, was Leon. Sitting on the couch. Both my phones, the old one and the new one, in his hands. Scrolling. Searching. Snooping. For a moment, I just stood there, blinking, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Then anger, hot and sharp, flared inside me. "What the hell are you doing, Leon?" I demanded. He jumped like a guilty kid caught stealing cookies. And then, God, the audacity, he got angry. "Why didn't you tell me you bought another phone?" he snapped. "What are you hiding, Naomi? Who are you texting?" He accused me of cheating. Standing there in my own home, wearing a ratty t-shirt and pajama shorts, hair a mess, sleep still clinging to my brain, and he had the nerve to throw that at me. I stared at him, heart pounding. "Are you serious right now?" I said, my voice low and shaking. "You know why I bought a new phone. We talked about it, remember the missing messages? The glitches?" He didn't back down. He kept spinning it, twisting it, trying to paint me as the villain. "If you weren't hiding something, you would have told me right away," he said. That's when it clicked. Why the messages disappeared. Why I kept missing events. Losing contact with my friends and family. It wasn't the phone. It was him. Leon was deleting my messages. Isolating me. Cutting me off from everyone who might notice what he was doing. And he'd made me doubt myself the whole time. I ripped the phones out of his hands. He tried to follow me into the kitchen, still ranting about how he had to check because he couldn't trust me anymore. "You're paranoid," I said quietly. "You're sick." For the first time in our marriage, I looked at him and didn't see my husband. I saw a stranger. Someone dangerous. Someone who didn't love me, not really. Someone who wanted to own me. Control me. The next morning, I packed a bag and went to stay with my mom. He begged. He cried. He swore it was a mistake, that he just missed me so much, that he was scared of losing me. "I just wanted to spend more time with you," he said. "I was afraid you'd leave." He wasn't sorry for what he did. He was sorry he got caught. I would love to tell you that this was where it ended. That I saw the truth, walked away clean, and never looked back. But life isn't that simple. I was confused. Hurting. Still clinging to the fantasy that maybe, just maybe, the man I fell in love with was still in there somewhere. I didn't know yet just how deep the betrayal went. I didn't know yet that while he was accusing me of cheating, he was the one living a double life. And I was about to find out in the most brutal way imaginable. After I left, Leon didn't waste any time rewriting history. He told his family, and whoever else would listen, that I had abandoned him. That I had betrayed him. That he was the wounded, heartbroken husband left to pick up the pieces. Meanwhile, he wasn't exactly moping around alone. With the help of Ariel, bless her soul, I learned the ugly truth. Leon had been seeing someone else. Not just recently. Not just after our marriage hit a rough patch. He had been cheating for months. The woman's name was Camila. 23 years old. Pretty. Blonde. The kind of girl who called herself a model on Instagram but had more mugshots than magazine features. Ariel did some digging and found out Camila had a criminal record in another state, auto theft, among other things. The cherry on top. She was a former stripper who was wanted for questioning in connection to some sketchy financial scams. And this was the woman Leon had brought into our lives. Into our home. While he was busy accusing me of being untrustworthy, he was playing house with someone who could have gotten him arrested. The irony was almost funny. Almost. At first, I didn't know what to do with the information. I was devastated. Humiliated. But most of all, I was angry. Not the kind of anger that makes you scream or throw things. The cold, clear, focused kind of anger that makes you plan. Because if Leon thought he could betray me, slander me, and walk away looking like the good guy, he had another thing coming. That's when Ariel and I, along with Leon's own horrified parents, came up with a plan. My birthday was coming up in a few days. Normally, Leon would have ignored it, pretended he was too busy or too broke to celebrate. But not this year. This year, his parents called him up and guilt-tripped him into hosting a birthday party for me. They played it perfectly, saying how much they missed me, how much they wanted to support our marriage, how happy it would make them to see us reconnect. Leon, being the spineless coward he was, couldn't say no. He agreed to host a party. At our old house. He had no idea we all knew about Camila. No idea that we were setting the stage for his grand, public downfall. The night of the party, I dressed carefully. Simple, elegant, powerful. I wasn't there to fight. I was there to win. I tucked the divorce papers into my purse, along with a thick folder full of evidence collected by my lawyer and the private investigator, photos, text messages, even footage of Leon sneaking Camila into our home while I was away. If Leon tried to play the victim card, I was ready to flip the whole table over. When my mom and I arrived, the house looked pitiful. Half-hearted decorations. Dirty dishes piled in the sink. Take-out pizza boxes stacked on the counter like some sad college frat party. No flowers. No real cake. No love. It was clear he hadn't put in even a fraction of the effort he used to give Camila. Whatever. It didn't matter. Tonight wasn't about decorations. It was about truth. His parents arrived next, all stiff smiles and tight jaws. Ariel came in shortly after, shooting me a wink. Everything was in place. We sat awkwardly, sipping flat soda and pretending to make small talk, waiting for the show to begin. And then the doorbell rang. Leon practically sprinted to the door like a kid on Christmas morning. And when he came back, he wasn't alone. On his arm was Camila. Wearing a tight, sparkly dress, heels way too high, and a smug little smirk that made me want to throw up. The room fell into a stunned, horrified silence. Leon, oblivious, beamed at everyone like he was introducing royalty. "Everyone," he said proudly, "this is Camila. And we have some exciting news to share." He took a deep breath, like he was about to drop the biggest bombshell of his life. "Camila is pregnant. 2 months." Another beat of silence. And then, unbelievably, Leon turned toward his parents, toward my mother, toward me, and launched into a full-blown speech about how he had been the real victim in our marriage. How I had neglected him. How I had manipulated him. How I had emotionally abused him. He painted Camila as his angel, his savior, the woman who had shown him what true love felt like. He spun lie after lie with the shameless confidence of a seasoned con artist. But just as he finished, just as he stood there breathing heavily, waiting for applause, my mom moved first. Without a word, she grabbed her glass of Sprite, walked right up to him, and splashed it directly in his face. Leon recoiled, sputtering, dripping. Everyone gasped, except Ariel, who burst out laughing. "You disgusting liar," my mom spat. "You don't deserve to even speak her name." Camila gawked like a fish out of water, clearly not prepared for this level of chaos. Before Leon could recover, Ariel stepped forward. Calm. Deadly. "Tell them, Leon," she said sweetly. "Tell them about Camila's arrest warrant. Tell them about her real history." Leon's face drained of all color. Camila stiffened, clutching her fake designer purse. The room exploded. Leon's parents started shouting. My mother started cursing. Ariel kept listing off every awful thing we had discovered about Camila. Leon stood there, stunned and cornered. And that's when I pulled the divorce papers from my purse. I walked right up to him. Held them out. And smiled. "Happy birthday to me," I said quietly. "We're done." He didn't take the papers at first. Just stood there, gaping. So I dropped them at his feet. My mom and I left without looking back. Behind us, the sounds of chaos, screaming, and Camila trying to defend herself echoed through the house. It was the best birthday present I could have ever asked for. Freedom. And the satisfaction of knowing that Leon's perfect little life had crumbled, publicly, spectacularly, and completely. Exactly the way he deserved. The night after the party, I slept better than I had in months. No tossing. No nightmares. No waking up in a cold sweat wondering if I was crazy, or dramatic, or too sensitive. I wasn't any of those things. I was free. Of course, Leon didn't take it well. The next morning, I woke up to nearly 80 text messages. 80. Begging. Pleading. Gaslighting. Messages that said things like, "You're overreacting, Naomi. You're ruining our family. If you ever loved me, you'd come back and fix this. It was just one mistake." One mistake? Bringing a pregnant mistress to my birthday party wasn't a mistake. It was a declaration of war. I didn't reply to a single one. My lawyer told me to save every message, that they'd be useful in court, but not to engage. So I didn't. I didn't owe Leon another second of my life. Ariel stayed by my side through it all. She visited often, bringing snacks, cheesy rom-coms, and an endless supply of bad jokes. She also helped me dig deeper into Camila's history. Turns out, Camila had been playing Leon just as much as Leon had played me. The pregnancy? A lie. The very next week, she disappeared, ran off with another man. Leon tried to track her down, but she blocked him on everything and vanished into thin air. There was no baby. No happy ending. Just Leon, alone, humiliated, and very, very broke. The divorce dragged on for months. Leon's lawyer tried every cheap trick in the book to delay things. Filing pointless motions. Forgetting documents. Rescheduling hearings last minute. It was exhausting. Frustrating. But I was stubborn. And patient. Because I knew something Leon didn't. His parents, furious about the whole scandal, had given him an ultimatum. Finalize the divorce or you're cut off. Leon didn't want to lose their financial support. He didn't want to lose the tiny scrap of respectability he had left. So eventually, grudgingly, he gave up. And I got everything I asked for. My half of the assets. Reimbursement for all the money I had invested in his condo. Compensation for emotional damages. My lawyer even managed to argue for a larger settlement based on Leon's marital misconduct. Winning never tasted so sweet. The day the divorce was finalized, I bought myself flowers. Roses. Bright, unapologetically red. I took myself out to dinner. Ordered champagne. Ate dessert first. Not because anyone was celebrating me. Because I was celebrating myself. A few months later, Ariel got engaged. She invited me to her wedding, of course. At first, I hesitated, worried Leon might be there. But she assured me he wasn't invited. Her words, exactly. He's not family anymore. That hit me harder than I expected. Not because I missed him. Because I realized that for the first time, I was surrounded by people who actually valued me. Today, I'm happier than I ever thought possible. I'm building a life where my voice is heard. Where my dreams matter. Where I don't have to shrink to make someone else comfortable. Leon still tries to reach out sometimes, weak, pathetic little texts asking for another chance. I don't even open them. Let him rot in the ruins of the life he built with his own lies. Me? I'm too busy living. And if you're sitting here wondering if you have the strength to walk away from someone who makes you doubt yourself, you do. I promise you, you do. Close the door. Lock it. Throw away the key. And then go build a life so beautiful that they can never touch it again. That's exactly what I did. And I have never, not for a single second, looked back.